Hello grade 5! Welcome back to my channel! It's me, Maam Ann. For today ay meron na naman tayong panibagong lesson tungkol sa ating Science 5 Quarter 4 from Week 3 to 4. Our lesson title about weather disturbances. But before that, if you're new to my YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you will be updated if I have a new upload videos. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to observe the changes of the weather before, during, and after a typhoon. Describe the effects of winds given a certain storm warning signal. And third, describe the effects of a typhoon in a community. So now, you have learned in the previous lesson when rocks are broken down into pieces. So it does not stay in one place. Some rock fragments become part of the soil. So others are transformed from one place to another, which is called the erosion. So in our last topic, the effects of soil erosion, how soil forms, how rocks turn into soil. So if you need that lesson guide, check inside my description box so that you understand what I'm talking about. So others are transformed from one. When we say erosion, that particular soil transferred from one place to another. So materials that are not transported to erosion are called sediments. Erosion of rock fragments contributes to the soil formation as well as the formation of landforms. So soil erosion does not only shape Earth's landforms, it also affects the ecosystem, especially if it's happened unexpectedly. Yan. So this type of soil erosion, hindi lang siya nakakatulong dun sa sa soil erosion and sa landforms. Hindi lang din siya nagbibigay ng shape sa ating Earth dito sa environment natin, lalo na yung sa mga anyong lupa, and then it also affects the ecosystem. When we say ecosystem, ito yung mga interaction of living things and non-living things in the particular place. Example, people, animals, and the trees, and the other non-living things, the biotic and abiotic factors. So, yun po. So, this time, you will learn about the weather disturbances. When we say weather, ano yung pinagkaiba ng word na weather and tsaka climate. So, di ba, parang sa tingin kapag narinig mo yung dalawa, parang magkapareho, pero magkaiba po yan. So, ngayon, pag-aaralan natin yan, kung ano yung weather at tsaka yung climate. So, the Philippines experience an average of 20 typhoons a year. So, yan na po dahil sa climate change na nangyayari, more than 20 na yung ganyan. Every year, napapansin nyo, kapag pag ang bagyo ay natapat ng January, nag-start siya sa letter A na pangalan. So, the biggest contributor of the weather disturbances in our country is the Pacific Ocean, which lies in the eastern part of the country. So, dahil tayo ay maliit na bansa, maliit lang tayo na country, then natapat din tayo sa one of the biggest ocean in the earth, yung Pacific Ocean. Sobrang lawak ng Pacific Ocean. So, di ba napapansin natin sa mga balita, kapag namumuo yung mga bagyo, nagagaling talaga sa Pacific Ocean. Doon, hanggang sa pumapasok siya sa ating PAR or the Philippine Area of Responsibility. Minsan, tropical depression lang, tapos pag napasok na sa ating place, mamumuo na siya na into a tropical storm. So, now, And the typhoon is just one of the many weather disturbances we experience. So aside from the other calamity that we have, so yung typhoon din is parang too much experience na tayo. Relate tayo kasi minsan nga dalawang bagyo sa isang buwan. Yung ganun po. So now, look at the sky. Titingnan natin ang ating kalangitan. So, can you tell what the weather is? Can you tell what the weather is? So, ngayon, alam niyo kung ano yung weather niyo ngayong araw. So, obviously naman, dito sa CALABARZON ay very sunny. So, ngayon, weather is the condition of the atmosphere at a short period of time. So now, let's differentiate naman yung the word climate and the word weather. So, ibig sabihin ng weather, nangyayari lang siya within 24 hours. Unlike sa climate, buong whole year, yun po, buong mahaba yung range ng time niya. Unlike sa weather na very short period of time. So, the different factors that affect weather include our air temperature, air pressure, humidity, clouds, precipitation, and wind speed and direction. So, there are lot of factors na nagko-contribute sa ating weather, daily weather natin. So, unang-una, ano yung kanina? Air temperature. So, nangangailangan din yung temperatura sa ating hangin. Next is the air pressure. Kung malakas ba yung pressure niya or mahina. Then humidity, yung clouds din natin, mapansin natin, di ba, makikita natin, wow, uulan ngayon. Kasi, how do we know na uulan? Because of the clouds. Kasi yung tawag nilang ulan, clouds na yun, cumulus. So, there are types of clouds naman, diba, sa grade 4 natin. Meron kayong ganon. So, aside from that, yung precipitation, yung the water vapor na ina-absorb sa condensation, mga evaporation, yung mga ganon. So, the water cycle. And, yun na nga po, nagaganap na yung ating weather disturbances and also the wind speed and the direction. Diba, ano yung gamit na sa barometer, dyan sa wind speed, kung gaano siya kalakas. And then, yung direction, yung pa-northeast ba siya, southwest ba siya, o northeast, mga ganon. Or amihan, abagat, merong mga ganon. Yan po yung mga factors na ka-apekto sa ating weather. So now, let's proceed. Weather disturbances refer to any disruption of the atmosphere's stable condition, so it can manifest through the formation of low pressure and or different prevailing winds like monsoon and the intertropical convergence zone. So ito ay parang ano na siya, yung very used term na, and then very familiar terms yung mga ganyan, monsoon and the intertropical convergence zone. Lalo na kapag kayo mahilig manunood ng mga balita, yan, palagi yan na yung si Mang Tani, gano'n, meteorologist na araw-araw nagre-report siya sa ating weather. And also si Kuya Kim Atienza, yan, nagre-report din siya. When we say low pressure, mababa yung niya, kaya doon talaga there is a possibility na perform siya into a storm, tropical storm. And aside from that, itong ating monsoon, merong dalawang monsoon na yung habagat at saka yung amihan. Yun po, lalo na yung habagat, mga maraming tubig yung dinadala niyan. And then, yung amihan, hindi, ulan lang, so something ganon. So, now, let's proceed to our lesson, the low pressure area, or so-called the LPA, and high pressure area. So, yun po yung kadalasan natin na naririnig yan sa ating mga meteorologists sa GMA, ABS-CBN, mga ganon. So, low pressure, yun palagi nating binabantayan kasi 90% of low pressure is namumuo ay ano na talaga siya, ng magiging bagyo, ganap na bagyo. So now, this refers to the weight of PA or the HPA. This refers to the weight of the air that is pressing down to the earth. When we say, weight, yung timbang, hindi naman. Kasi when we say, low pressure kasi mababa yung ano niya, yung hangin, naramdam na natin. An abrupt change in air pressure can trigger weather disturbances. So when cold air sink, it results to the high pressure area. And since most of the air is pressing down, the air on the surface becomes dry. So but when air rises, less air presses downward, so resulting to this formation of a low pressure area. Okay, so an LPA can result to weather disturbances such as rains and strong winds. So, okay, paano natin malalaman na kapag yung a type of air pressure ay high at saka low? Ang kadalasan kasi kapag sa high pressure, yung hangin doon is malamig yung sa air. Nagsisink siya, ibig sabihin bumababa. And then yung result nun is yung high pressure. Kasi mas mabigat kasi ang malamig na pressure kaysa doon sa warm. Kaya hindi malabo talaga na magkaroon siya ng magpo-form siya ng bagyo. Unlike dito sa low pressure, LPA natin kadalasan ay ulan at saka malalakas ng hangin. Yun po. So, in a cyclone, so the cold air flows to take the place of the rising warm air as a result of the air current spins. So, when we say yung sa kapag nag-spin na yung air, ang tawag doon is cyclone. Then, the wind spiral around the center of the cyclone. So, the center is called the eye. So, when a cyclone is formed over the tropics, it is called a tropical cyclone. So, the tropical cyclones that occurs within the Philippine area of responsibility or the PAR develops into two areas. So, these areas are in the Pacific Ocean and in the West Philippine Sea. So, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration or the PAG-ASA keeps tracks on cyclones that enter the PAR. Yan po yung government agency na palagi nagmo-monitor sa ating atmosphere. So, ang tawag din ay PAG-ASA. Diba, kadalas marami na rin tayong naririnig. Palagi na rin natin yan naririnig yung term na PAG-ASA. But the acronym of that PAG-ASA is first, the P is the Philippines, A, atmospheric, G is geophysical, A, astronomical, S, services, and A, administration or the PAG-ASA. So, tatandaan nyo yan. Kasi palagi naman ko, PAG-ASA palaging ganyan. So, now, merong acronym lang yung PAG-ASA. So, yung cyclone, kapag meron kayo sa AP nyo, di ba, nilolocate nyo dun sa ating globe. Okay, alam nyo ba kung nasaan ang ating, integrate tayo ng AP ngayon. Alam nyo ba kung saan ang Pilipinas doon sa globo? So, nasa above the equator siya. Ibig sabihin sa equator, sa gitna ng globe. And then, kapag ang cyclone ay tumapat doon sa tropical area doon sa globe na, yun na, sa globo natin, yun na nga ang tinatawag ng tropical cyclone. So, may mga word na ganun. Tropical rainforest, din sa Amazon, and dito sa Philippines kasi, nasa tropical area tayo. Kaya, meron lang tayong dalawang season, the wet season and the dry season. Kasi, nasa tapat tayo ng sun. So, ngayon, so the classification of cyclone according to strength of wind. So, mayroon niyang ibang-ibang stages of the naming of the strong winds. Kasi meron yung mga 100 km per hour, yung mga ganun-ganun. So, yun po. So, ito yung classification how yung maximum ng strength of winds in the particular signal number 1, signal number 2, signal number 3, yung mga ganun siya. So, in tropical disturbance lang, so it is first in tropical disturbance, it is an isolated weather system with an apparent air circulation. So, it is characterized by a poorly developed wind circulation. So, it is commonly observed throughout the wet tropics and subtropics. So, lang siya, hindi lang siya, mahina lang siya na circulation. Kapag nakikita nyo yung kapag nagbabalita na yung ating mga meteorologists sa TV, di ba meron ng circulation of wind, pero mahina lang, ang tawag doon ay tropical disturbance lang. Okay, so next is tropical depression. So, it is a weak low pressure disturbance with a definite surface circulation. So, a tropical depression has a maximum wind speed of up to 61 kilometers per hour, or the unit na ginamit ay kph. So, it is most common in the equatorial region or the ITZC or the Intertropical Convergence Zone. Okay, ito pa lang yung nag-i-start pa lang siya na mabumubuo into strong winds or strong typhoon. So, lang siya, mahina lang siya. Meron siyang wind speed of 61 km per hour. Tropical disturbance. Sobrang hina lang niya. Kapag si low pressure ay binangga ng high pressure, so nawawala siya, natutunaw, nalulusaw, something like that. So, next is the tropical storm. So, pataas ng pataas to. Kanina is the tropical disturbance. Next is the tropical depression. Kapag sobrang medyo mataas-taas na yung wind speed niya, ito na nga po, si tropical storm. So, once the tropical depression has intensified, so parang, yun na nga, alarma na yung pag-asa. Gagano na sila. Mag-warning na sila na ito ay magiging bagyo, ganap na bagyo, at bibigyan na nila ito ng pangalan. For example, kung ngayon ay merong bagyo ngayon, sa habang nire-record ko itong ating video lesson dun sa part ng Visayas. Ang tawag ay si Dante. So, yun na nga po, nasa letter D na tayo. So for example, kapag meron ng tropical storm, papangalanan na yan na sasunod na yun ni Dante, E. So, si Idang. So, example lang yan. So, it becomes a tropical storm. So, a tropical storm is a moderate tropical cyclone with a maximum speed of 62 to 88 km per hour. So, tatandaan natin yan. Kanina, si tropical storm ay meron lang siya 61 km per hour. So, pataas ng pataas yung level ng kanyang wind speed, yung strength ng gaano kalakas yung wind na yon. So, tumataas na siya. Meron na siyang 62 to 88 km per hour. So, it is more organized and more circular in shape. So, the rotation of the tropical storm is more recognizable than that of a tropical. So, meron na siyang circulation, yung pang-spin na ganon. Kasi, umiikot yan. Then, sa gitna is the eye. Yan. So, next of the tropical storm is the typhoon. Okay? Yan, si tropical storm. Kapag more than 88 km per hour na siya, ayan na, si ganap na talaga siya na bagyo. Yan. So typhoon is an intense weather disturbance having more or less a circular shape and with an average size of about 500 km in diameter. So, sobrang lawak niya. So, the wind blows toward the center called the eye. So, the tropical cyclones are identified based on the speed of the circulating winds. If the speed of the wind is 60 km per hour or less, it is known as depression. So, if the speed becomes 60 to 118, it is known as a storm. So, if the speed is more than 118, it is called a typhoon. So, yan. Meron niyang category na low, medium, high, yung mga ganun niya pa. From mababa hanggang pataas, may iba-iba siyang classification of terms na ginagamit. Okay? Kapag sa 60 to 60 or less, si depression lang yon. And then sa 60 to 118, si tropical storm. And 118 above is a typhoon. So now, yan na po, mag-aalarma na or magbibigay na ng warning ang ating pag-asa kung ano yung mga preparedness, sa disaster preparedness natin. So they are yung mga possible na mga evacuation sites, ano pa ba? Yung handang-handa tayo about this typhoon. So now, let's proceed to the changes of weather before, during, and after typhoon. Before a typhoon occurs, so high clouds are observed in the sky. So the air is dry and cold since most of the warm air has already risen. So the relative humidity is high, the wind blows gently, and scattered rain showers may occur. So kung normal ka lang na tao, di mo yan papansinin. Malalaman na lang natin yan na may bagyo kasi sa mga balita, sa Facebook, yung mga information na dun sa Pag-asa, DOST, mga ganon. Pero kapag ikaw lang normal, hindi mo yan mapapansin na sobrang init, tapos biglang lamig, yung mga ganun, tapos tumaas yung wala kanyan. Ang mga kakapansin lang yung mga nag-study about this, and then with the help of yung mga social media na ngayon, so nalalaman na natin talaga na merong ganyan. So, yun po. So, during the typhoon naman, the sky is dark, and the sky is dark and cloudy. So heavy rainfall accompanied by the strong winds occurs. So big waves are also observed near the coast, and when these waves become usually high due to the abnormally high ocean tides, a storm surge occurs. So, flash floods may also occur due to the heavy rainfall. Landslides may be triggered by flash floods and heavy rains. So, some trees and crops and may be uprooted of the strong winds. So, yun. Ito yung mga mostly na na-observe lang natin sa ating sky. So, kapag meron na sa during a typhoon, so, obviously naman na very dark and may magkaka-experience tayo ng sobrang lakas ng hangin at saka yung grabe din yung ulan. And minsan naman kapag ikaw ay nakatira sa baybaying dagat, yung alon talaga na sobrang laki, and anytime magkakaroon din siya ng storm surge. So, nasa bundok naman, kapag sobrang lakas ng ulan, it may cause din ng flash floods na biglang bahalang, or minsan yung landslides, kasi sobrang hindi na yung mga, lalo na ngayon, yung wala na tayong mga puno sa ating mga kagubatan na sumisipsip ng tubig. So, wala na yung ganyan ngayon. Kaya, sad to say, madali lang talagang bumaha sa ngayon. Unlike noong araw, na walang masyadong experience na flash flood. Kasi, alagang-alaga pa yung ating kagubatan eh. Maraming puno, ganyan-ganyan. Ngayon, wala na. Kalbo na yung bundok natin. So, wala nang sumisipsip. Kaya, landslide and flash floods sa mga, kung nakatira ka sa malapit sa bundok, yun na nga, mangyayari yan. Kung dito naman sa tabing dagat, mga high tides and matataas na alon or storm surge. So, after typhoon, so the sun becomes visible and the sky becomes clearer. So, there might be scattered rain showers or it may rescue and relief operation are also ongoing. So, there might be an outbreak of waterborne diseases. And then, waterborne diseases, influenza, and dengue. So, some areas may still be flooded and recovering from the typhoon. If a certain place is severely devastated, many residents are staying in the evacuation area. Kasi lalo na ngayon, palagi natin talaga nakikita yan sa TV. Kapag na isa ka sa mga biktima ng bagyo, baha yung bahay nyo. So, ngayon kasi ang soil natin, hindi na siya masyadong nag-absorb kasi ng water. Lalo kasi wala nang tumutulong na humihigop sa kanya eh. Kasi lalo na kapag experience ka ng 1 month ng ulan, tapos biglang baha. So, wala na talaga, hindi na siya mag-absorb dun sa ilalim. Kasi wala na tumutulong, walang plants, walang trees, and everything. So, now, ito na nga, after the typhoon, ito na nga sinasabi kapag may problema ka, after the storm, there is a rainbow. May pag-asa. So, wala, chika-chika lang. So, obviously naman, kapag ikaw ay biktima din ng ganito, asahan mo na yung mga relief goods, may mag-rescue, kung meron bang na-trap during that typhoon, may na-trap man, hahanapin yun yung mga rescuer. And then after that, meron ding outbreak sa mga kagaya ng mga sakit, yung mga malaria and everything. Kasi yung matubig kasi pwede siya pamahaya ng mga insekto like mosquito, dengue. Yan. And then yung tubig baha, meron din yung sa tawag nito, yung kapag yung tubig baha na yon, and then meron naihian siya ng mga bait. Let's proceed. The Public Storm Warning Signal or the PSWS. Ito yung mga tinatawag natin storm signal number 1, signal number 2, 3, 4, 5. Ganon. So, yan po. Paano natin siya malalaman na ganon, signal number 1. Alam nga naman diretso sa signal number 5. So, dadaan muna yan sa signal number 1, signal number 2. Hindi siya pwedeng mag-jump into signal number 5 agad. So, hindi. Start mo na siya sa pinaka-basic hanggang sa tumaas. So, yun now. So, in order to determine the strength of the typhoon, the Pag-asa issue public storm warning signals. Ito na nga. So, the table below shows the strength of the typhoon entering the PAR as well as the impact of the winds. Tatanan niyo yung Pag-asa and the PAR, ITZZ, the PSWS, yung mga ganon. So, in PSWS number 1 or the signal number 1, wind moving at a speed of 30 to 60 km per hour may be expected in at least 36 hours or irregular rains may be expected within 36 hours. So, when the tropical cyclone develops very close to the locality, a shorter lead time of the occurrence of the winds will be specified in the warning bulletin. Unless this warning signal is upgraded during the entire existence of the tropical cyclone, only very light or no damage at all may be sustained by the express communities. So, sa ngayon kasi kapag sinasabing signal number 1, parang wala pa tayong napapansin, wala pa tayong nararamdaman masyado kapag signal number 1. Kasi parang normal na lang siya eh. So, kung we say 36 hours, 1 day and 1.5 day, yun na-experience natin yung irregular rains. Ganon. And sa signal number 2, winds moving at the speed of 61 to 120 kilometers per hour may be expected in at least 24 hours. So in general, the wind may be light to moderate damage to affected communities. So, signal number 2, as na-experience naman natin to lahat eh. Minsan, kasi hindi pare-pareho kasi sa signal number 1, medyo may araw pa yan. Sa signal number 2, parang ano lang, malakas konti yung hangin, ganyan-ganyan. Minsan ang bagyo kasi natin ngayon, minsan hangin lang, minsan ulan lang. Ganon, hindi siya pareho. Malas lang kung magkasabay yung dalawa na ulan, malakas na ulan, malakas na hangin. Sobrang malas na talaga. Yun na nga ang delikado ngayon. So, in signal number 3, winds moving at a speed of 121 to 170 km per hour may be expected at least 18 hours. In general, moderate to heavy damage may be experienced particularly agricultural and industrial sector. So as you observe guys, kapag tumataas ang wind speed niya, kumukonti din yung oras niya, di ba? Like sa signal number 1, 36 hours. Sa signal number 2, 24 hours. Sa signal number 3, 18 hours na lang siya. So, itong yung signal number 3, malakas na talaga to. Pwede na siyang makasira ng agricultural natin, yung pananim, yung mga palay, ganyan-ganon. And then, industrial sectors, yung poste na kuryente. Yun kasi kadalasan ang masisira kapag may bagyo. Kasi malakas-lakas na yung hangin na ganyan. So, in signal number 4, winds moving at a speed of 171 to 200 km per hour may be expected in at least 12 hours. So, with this signal number 2, the locality is very likely to hit directly of the eye of the typhoon. As the eye of the typhoon approaches, the weather will continuously worsen, with the winds increasing to the strongest coming generally from the north. So, yun na nga, ito na yung signal number 4, nakakatakot na to. Kapag tinaas na yung lugar nyo sa signal number 4, nako, dasal and kailangan handa ka, prepared, kasi malakas na talaga to. Lalo na kapag nasa sentro kayo ng mata ng bagyo, delikado, ganyan. So, wala tayong magagawa. It's just natural calamity. And signal number 5, ito na yung pinakataas na bagyo na signal number. So winds moving at a speed of 200 km per hour or above may be expected at least 12 hours. Bring widespread damage to high-risk structure. So lahat yata bagsak na nito. Mga puno, lahat. Sobrang lakas na nito, yung signal number 5. Kahit ikaw, kapag lumabas ka, tatangayin ka na ng hangin eh. So, yun. So, in our learning test 1, prepare the material listed below. If not available, you may use the other materials at home to perform the activity. You may ask the help of your parents, guardian, or any adult members of the family if needed. So our activity title, be ready, laging handa. So the materials are ball pen and bond paper. So simple lang pala. So you have to conduct an interview with your family member about the changes of weather before a typhoon, during, and after. So there are 2 questions you must answer. Then, and our learning task 2, list down the effects of winds during the different public storm warning signal. Isulat mo yung mga naapektuhan kapag sobrang lakas na ng hangin. Ito sa signal number 1, yung mangyayari dyan sa mga puno, bahay, ganyan. Sulat nyo lang. Copy the table and answer. Learning task 3, Analyze each statement. Draw a heart eyes emoji if it is true, and wow emoji if it's not, if it is false. So there are 5 questions. There are 5 questions. In our learning test 4, use a Venn diagram to compare and contrast the effects of the changes of the weather before, during, and after in the community. So when you say you have to draw the Venn diagram, the before, during, after, so at the center yung magkakatulad nilang tatlo. In our learning test 5, inside the column, analyze the following statements that describe the changes of the weather before, during, and after the typhoon. Put a check mark on the column that corresponds in the condition of each statement. So, copy and answer. You have to check lang, ganyan. So, to sum up of our lesson for these 2 weeks, the classification of cyclone according to the strong winds. What is tropical disturbance? So, it is isolated weather system with an apparent circulation. What is tropical depression? It is a weak low pressure disturbance with a definite surface circulation. What is tropical storm? Once a tropical depression has intensified, it becomes a tropical storm. What is typhoon? It is an intense weather disturbance with an average size of about 500 km in diameter. Now, in our assessment or the learning test 6, matching type. Match the definition in column A with the concept in the column B. Write the letter of your answer with space provided before each number. Kung wala kayong lip na printed, you have to copy and you have to write the answer. Kung meron naman, you have directly in our lip. So, that's all for today, grade 5. I hope meron kayong natutunan sa ating 2 linggong lesson. If you have questions, just comment in our comment section. And don't forget to check our description box. I have the soft copy lip and the key answers. So, thank you so much and God bless, and hope to see you all soon. And thank you. I love you. Saranghae!